Let me bring in Tom Homan, former acting ICE director and Fox Business contributor. Tom, let me start with this. Today, Jen Psaki, we played some sound from the press briefing earlier, but she again is smearing Border Patrol agents, going all in on this fake whip story, saying it was horrific seeing them on horses, being inhumane. What is the general morale of people at the border right now? They're overwhelmed, but now vilified and called racist straight from the White House, if you will.
It can't get any lower. And Jen Psaki's disgusting. The vice president, disgusting. The secretary of Homeland Security, disgusting. The incident that happened, the horses are trained to control crowds of people. Just like New York City PD, just like the Capitol Police, horses are trained to push people back. That's exactly what happened. The guys on horses are trained to use their reins to spin, to protect him and the horse. They ignored his verbal commands to step back. And he talked about how you put the women and children in front of you. This is a setup. The officer is doing his duty to keep aliens, illegal aliens, from crossing into the country, which is a crime. The horses are doing what they're trained to do. What really angers me beyond anything, has Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, the president, or the Secretary of Homeland Security, have they said anything about the 3 ICE officers that were injured on the plane in Haiti? Have they said anything about the ICE officers that were injured when we had to cancel 2 Haitian flights out of San Antonio? It got so out of control, the pilots refused to fly the plane? Have they talked about the officer that was overcome on the bus, where the Haitians took over the bus? That officer was injured? Have they talked about the 8,000 lives that Border Patrol agents saved on that border this year? Have they talked about the women that gave birth, that Border Patrol actually helped them give birth to people under that bridge? Have they talked about the 26 CBP officers that died of COVID because they're put in harm's way on that border, because they're ignoring Title 42 and letting people with COVID come across that border? Have they talked anything about the men and women in green who serve this nation, put it on the line every day for this country, and risk their lives? Not a word. I'm disgusted. Once again, they pulled a race card, trying to change the narrative of what's really going on. I am so angry that they failed to back up the men and women who serve this country so honorably.
And what about the risk that it's putting this very country in? And I know that you've talked, Tom, about the concentration of agents in the Del Rio area, that you have more than 200 miles of border that's wide open. And also the fact that this White House can't tell the American people, rather, how many people have been released into the United States.
See, that's another lie. I'm so disgusted with the constant lying for this administration. I was the ICE director. We do daily reports on who we put in detention and who we release. It's a matter of pushing a button to say how many people are released. They have that data. They're hiding that data because, like I said from day one, the secretary says, you'll be stopped, you'll be deported, just like the chief border patrol says, we're deporting them. I said that day, they're lying. It's not going to happen. Most are going to be released. And of course, that's what's happening. Now, we pulled the curtain back on this. That data is easily available. I've been there for almost 35 years. I know where that data is stored. I know how we track it. I know how we report it. It takes a matter of minutes to tell you how many people have been released.
Tom, what happened with I've said this about the demonization of police departments around the country. It has the same effect of defunding it. It causes people to retire, quit, and it discourages talented, brave individuals from joining police forces. The same thing is going on with the Border Patrol agents, but it's happening over and over again, the vilification directly from this White House. What do you think happens in terms of our border safety and security moving ahead in the months and even years to come?
We're in trouble, and I'm scared to look. The retirements and the resignations are a record high. You know, these men and women of the Border Patrol, they don't give up their morality when they wear that badge and gun. They're mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters too. These Border Patrol agents actually bring toys from their own kids to these facilities so these children have things to play with. They give their lunch to people that haven't eaten. And they take sicknesses home every day. COVID is just the most recent. They deal with TB every day. They deal with measles and chickenpox, scabies and lice. They take the sicknesses home to their own families. These are the finest 1% this country has. They don't make a lot of money. and they stand on the border. For those who aren't taking care of the families, they're on a dirt trail someplace because a sensor went off, and they don't know if it's an illegal alien looking for a job or a heavily armed drug smuggler. But you know what? While you and I are sleeping, they're going to take it on. There's 124, I think 124 Border Patrol agents that gave their lives in the line of duty. And this is the thanks they get from this administration. They put them in this position. This crisis was created by the Biden administration on purpose. They did this, and they put them in harm's way. And rather than, has anybody been down there to shake a hand of a Border Patrol agent? Has anybody talked to a widow of a Border Patrol agent that died from COVID because they put them in that position?
Peter
no,
Doocy,
I'm
Peter
disgusted.
Doocy asked Jen Psaki today how many times in his decades of service has Joe Biden been to the border? Because based on his work, they couldn't find one incident where he's been down to the border, and that's part of the problem.
He hasn't been to the border. Kamala Harris went to El Paso, far away from the crisis. I've been retired for 2.5 years. I've been to the border 5 times in support of the people wearing the green, because I started my career as a Border Patrol agent. I know the sacrifices these men and women make. And I've been down there 5 times, and I'm retired. So the president, if he wants to take interest in the crisis he created, he ought to at least go down there. But you know, this is another shame on this administration. This is open borders. This is what they planned for. This is what they got. And more people are going to die. More women are going to be raped. More Border Patrol agents are going to be sacrificed. And more criminals and terrorists are going to get in this country because the border's unguarded. 224 miles unguarded because they got all the resources dealing with this crisis.
And people in Washington are A-OK to stand back and watch the human suffering and misery. Tom, thank you so much. Great to see you, sir. Always. Tom Homan.